Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my most anticipated books for the rest of 2019. So that means books that are being published here in July all the way until December. And I'm super excited. I actually didn't really know what I was excited about for this video until I sat down yesterday, pulled up Goodreads and a bunch of lists of books that were going to be published soon. And I kind of went through a bunch of them and I found a bunch that I'm really excited for, things that I didn't even, I might have seen them before, but I didn't realize they were coming out pretty soon. And so I hope that you enjoy this video. If you didn't realize, I actually got a microphone. And so if you like how the sound quality is in my videos, make sure that you drop a comment down below or give me a thumbs up because that means a lot to me. I kind of want to improve more on my quality since I have so many of you watching my videos. And so I'm super excited for the future and what this channel holds. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started in this video. So there's actually 14 books that I'm super excited about coming out, and I'm going to just go in order of when they're actually being released. So I'm going to talk about the very first book is one that I actually already have, and I'm already halfway through it because I was super excited and I just didn't get to make this video in time before this book was released, but it's Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This has been one of my most anticipated books, actually, I think even in the video I did at the beginning of the year. And Riley Sager is one of my all-time favorite authors, and so I'm super excited to read this. Well, I say that, but actually I only have a quarter of it left, so you'll probably definitely see this in my wrap-up here at the end of July, and so I hope you're excited about that. I'm not exactly sure. I don't really want to tell you my feelings about it yet, so I'm just going to leave it right there at that, not really telling you anything until my wrap-up. So make sure you watch that at the end of July. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to me already because you don't want to miss this. The next book that I am excited about is The Prenup by Lauren Lane, and this is coming out, or actually today, it came out yesterday on July 9th. So this one actually just got published. I just haven't gotten my hands on a copy yet, but I am really excited to read this book. So this is a romantic comedy. What happens is I think this girl, Charlotte, needs to get married to get her inheritance, and someone, I think it's her brother's best friend that she ends up marrying, also needs to get married for a green card. I think he's from Scotland. So they end up getting married just out of convenience, and 10 years later one of them is filing for divorce, but in the prenup it says that in order for them to actually file for divorce, they actually have to live together for I think 3 months, because over the last course of 10 years, they were just married on paper, but they weren't actually living together. So it sounds like a really fun romantic comedy type of book, and I'm super excited to read that. The next book that was on my most anticipated list is Never Have I Ever by Jocelyn Jackson, and this comes out July 30th, and I've actually already read this book and it was worth the hype. I gave this 5 stars. You can hear my thoughts about it and what it's about in my wrap-up video for June. I will link that up above. Plus, I read it while I was on my beach vacation, so I have a beach vlog about that as well. And so you can find all those links down below if you weren't able to catch the card up above. But this was an amazing psychological thriller read. I loved it. It reminded me of Big Little Lies, but you should definitely check this out if you're a thriller lover. It's amazing, and I cannot wait for it to be published this month. The next book that I'm excited about is Someone We Know by Sherry Lapina. This is being released on July 30th, and actually I've only read one other Sherry Lapina book. I've read The Couple Next Door, and I haven't read her most recent book, but a lot of people commented on one of my older videos and said that I definitely need to read I forget what it was called, but it was her book before this new one that's coming out. So I'm excited about reading this one. I'm definitely going to pick it up once it's published. So this one is a domestic suspense about this teenage son who's been breaking into people's houses, getting on their computers, learning their secrets, and all of a sudden someone becomes murdered. I love domestic thrillers. It's something that I just love, and it mentioned something about husbands and wives fighting, secrets, all of that type of stuff. That's right up my alley, I found out recently. And so I'm super excited about this. It just sounds like something I would really love. The next book that I'm excited about is The Arrangement by Robin Harding. And this book's going to be published on July 30th. This book is like something that I just want my hands on like right now. It is about this college student who is hurting for money, and she decides to get herself a sugar daddy. They end up falling in love, but her sugar daddy already has a family and decides to just stop talking to the college student, and she starts like spying on his wife and stalking him and doing all this crazy stuff, drinking a lot. I literally cannot wait to get my hands on this. Like, I want to read this right now. I am so excited. It sounds like everything I love in a thriller. So I just cannot wait for July 30th. I might buy this book. I'm not sure. I was hoping to score it on NetGalley, but if I can't win it from a giveaway or get it on NetGalley, or if my library doesn't have it, I might actually buy this book because it sounds that good. The next book that I'm excited about is Careful What You Wish For by Haley Ephron, and this book is going to be published on August 6th. So this one is about this like professional cleaner and organizer lady, and she goes around, and that's her job. She like is super organized. She goes around and helps like other people become organized, but her like motto is about how you can like organize your own stuff, but you're not really allowed to touch like your spouse's stuff. And so I guess she like becomes friends with some people, and they're all talking about like, oh, like if only their husbands like, you know, weren't so messy, or if I could get rid of all this stuff that my husband has. And I guess the title Careful What You Wish For is because they kind of wished like, oh, I wish like my husband wasn't here to do this or whatever. But then after they're like talking that kind of stuff, I think some things happen, and it's kind of like careful what you wish for, because then like her marriage is in like struggles and all this kind of stuff. So it's just kind of like, you know, don't always complain about like what you have, because it could be worse. And so I'm just excited. I think it's a little bit of a suspense novel. I just really was drawn into the whole like organization type of thing, because that's how I am. And I just want to read this book about this lady that wants to organize everything. Like literally, that's all I want to do. The next book that I'm super excited about is Love at First Light by Hannah Orenstein. And this is set to release on August 6th. This has one of those like fake dating tropes. It's like a romance, probably a romantic comedy, but this is about a girl who has like a big social media following, and she accidentally posts a picture of a ring on her left hand, and everyone starts geeking out and thinks that she's engaged. So she's making a lot of money from that because of the whole publicity, and so she decides to do like a fake dating and find a fake fiance and all that type of stuff. For that type of trope, it's kind of like a hit or miss, but I am super excited to read this because I just love social media in general, so I really want to read more about a character that deals with social media. I think that that'll just be an interesting story. The next book that I'm excited for is The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, and this is being released August 6th. So I've only ever read one Ruth Ware book, and it was The Woman in Cabin 10, but this one just sounds so intriguing. It's about this girl who is taking a nannying position, and it's going to be in this like smart house, so a house that has like a bunch of technology. And at the end of the story, I guess a child ends up dead, and she ends up going to prison. So we're reading about how that came about, like what happened, what mistakes she made, what she did wrong, what actually happened, you know, that whole thriller story aspect of everything. But I'm super excited. I don't know if you guys remember, but on the Disney Channel, there was this movie, I think called Smart House or something like that. And the house like ended up going crazy with the technology. I don't know. That's just what popped in my head when I first read the synopsis, but I loved that movie. So I'm hoping that I like this book as well. The next book that I'm excited about is The Perfect Wife by J.P. Delaney, and this is released on August 6th. This actually has the trope of like, you know, amnesia, forgetting type of memories, that type of thing, and I really enjoyed that trope, so that's one reason why I'm super excited to read this. So this is about this character, Abby, who wakes up and finds out that her life that she has been living, I guess, is something that she doesn't know. She had lost memories in some type of accident, and throughout the book we find out whether her husband actually is her husband, like she doesn't remember who she's married to, all of that kind of stuff. I've actually read a couple other books that kind of have this same trope, so it does sound like something I've read before, but I've always enjoyed those types of books, whether it's a romantic type of amnesia type of story or a thriller more aspect, and I think this one is just thriller, but I am super excited. There's just something about not knowing and losing your memories and then them coming back like randomly. I just love that type of stuff. So the next book I'm excited about is Don't You Forget About Me. This is by McHarley McFarlane. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, and it's set to be released September 10th. This is a romance book that is set set with this character who lost her job and recently got dumped, or she like found her boyfriend in bed with someone else, and she goes to find a job where her boss is actually this guy she's like had a crush on for forever, and they're probably gonna fall in love, because that seems what happens to every romance book. It just seemed like a really cute story, and I know that I like reading romance books within my thriller reading, because that way I'm not, you know, just tired of thrillers all the time. So it sounded like something that I would want to pick up, and so I'm really excited to read it because it sounds like a romance book I would enjoy. So the next book I'm excited about is Christmas Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella, and this is set to release October 15th, although I probably will wait to read it until December because I was looking for some good Christmas books. I actually realized I loved a cozy mystery Christmas book that I read by Debbie Malcolmer last year, I think it was, and so I'm kind of looking for a couple more of those like type of cozy Christmassy reads, so that way I can read those in December. So this is about a character named Becky who like loves Christmas, loves doing all the like Christmassy things, and I think her family decides that they're gonna visit her for Christmas, and everyone's like doing something like trendy, so she has to make like a vegan turkey and stuff like that. I don't know, it just sounded like a really like funny holiday type of read and had all those like feel-good Christmassy vibes that I love, so I'm really excited to get my hands on a copy of this. The next book that I'm excited about, and this is definitely my most anticipated read for the rest of this year, and probably the whole year actually, if I would have known that this was coming out in December. Like, I didn't even know, and then I found out and I already pre-ordered it. But Regretting You by Colleen Hoover, it's coming out December 10th. And I literally cannot wait, because if you don't know me, Colleen Hoover is one of my all-time favorite authors. Like, I love her so much, and I'm so excited that she's coming out with another romance novel. We know nothing about it. There's no synopsis up, but I still pre-ordered it, and the cover is amazing, and I just cannot wait. I am so excited. The next book that I'm excited about is The Wives by Taryn Fisher, and this is set to release on December 30th. I feel like I have a hate-love relationship with Taryn Fisher's writing. Like, her romance novels, I'm not a huge fan of, but I had read Bad Mommy, which is a thriller novel of hers, and I absolutely loved it and gave it 5 stars. I read it last month if you want to see my wrap-up for that, but this is actually going to be a thriller novel, and so I really want to get my hands on a copy, and I think I'm definitely going to love it because her thriller writing is just so good. So this book sounds so creepy and so amazing. It says, imagine that your husband has 2 other wives. There's this like certain arrangement that's going on, and your husband can only see you 1 day a week because he has 2 other wives, and you accidentally find a piece of paper with one of the other wives like names on it, and even though you're not supposed to, you stalk her down and you find that she has like bruises, and so you realize that your husband might actually be abusive even though he doesn't do that to you. And where's his other 3rd wife? And like, I don't know. This synopsis just sounds so crazy, and I cannot wait to read it. The last book that I'm excited for is Husband Material by Emily Belden, and this is coming out December 30th. This is about a 29-year-old character who is already a widow, and she still has to deal with the mother-in-law and kind of just figure out like what is going on in her life, and I guess has to just kind of like be okay with falling in love with other people. The synopsis was a little vague, but just of the whole like being 29, already being a widow, like that really swept me up into it. And so I'm really excited to read this book, especially since it seems a little bit more realistic of a romance. 'Cause sometimes romances are just about people falling in love and like not really having any like real world situations in them. But I really like to read more of a heartbreak type of story. So I'm super excited about this read. All right, that is all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and let me know down in the comments if I missed any books that are coming out in the next couple months that you think I would enjoy. I feel like you guys know my taste pretty well, so if they're romance or if they're thriller books, you can let me know down in the comments if I've missed any of them, because I definitely need to keep adding to my TBR list, because we would not be book readers if we didn't add to our TBR list like 24/7. If you enjoyed this video, I would definitely appreciate you giving it a big thumbs up because it really supports my channel. I'll see you all in another video. Bye everyone.